I was born in Egypt, born on a bed, not even in a hospital. My father took his 3 children, a single parent, flew to the United States for a better life for his kids. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, 5 of us. There were nights when we were so many people in that apartment that my older brother, we had a back porch area. When it rained one night, put me in the inside so he could shield the rain.
Dr. Amira Ogunleye, who is a world-renowned cosmetic dentist and a woman who believes in empowering other women.
There's no way I will ever get to a point where I'm like, this is normal. Work ethic will beat talent if talent isn't working, right? It's hard for me to shut off. I'm working, and it's a work ethic that was instilled in me from my father, because it's like, this is how we're gonna have a better life for my kids. For me, it's been so heavy on my heart for literally the last 10 years. How can we get more diversity in this field? How can we get more representation? How can we get more dental equity? And the best way to do it is by increasing this ratio of minority people in the field.
We first opened the doors to Grown 10 years ago. I honestly thought we were just reinventing fast food. But what I didn't realize is this was never just about the food. We were also building community. My name is Shannon Allen, and you're watching Grown Woman Season 2. I am so grateful to be joined today at the Grown Table by my dear friend, Dr. Amira Ogunleye, who is a world-renowned cosmetic dentist and a woman who believes in empowering other women. God, we all need a friend that believes that they are here to empower other women. Like, what's up with that? The ultimate girl's girl.
I love you so much. I love everything you're doing.
Love you so much. Thank
I'm
you
so
for
happy
joining
to
me.
be here with you.
I am so grateful that you're here with me. And we have like some real personal history, but before we get into how we know each other, how we came to know each other and love each other, I want you to take us back to what it was like to be young Amira before you had all of the degrees, before you were speaking at Harvard, before you were traveling the world, and you were the go-to person for this world of literally changing people's lives by changing their smiles. You were an immigrant. You came here from Egypt.
Yeah.
Tell me about that story.
So I was born in Egypt.
Okay.
And I actually was born on a bed, not even in a hospital.
Really?
Yeah. You know, Egypt is, they don't say third world country anymore, but Egypt does not have money like that.
Okay.
Like other countries. And my family, they did what they could. We lived in a very modest home in Egypt. And my father wanted a better life for his kids. So when I was 2, my father took his 3 children, a single parent.
Your father is a single parent.
He was a single parent, flew to United States for a better life for his kids.
Oh my God.
We grew up, my father worked at Popeyes, KFC. He was a security guard. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, 5 of us.
Where?
In Clearwater, Florida.
Okay.
Okay, so we grew up, and I have memories of shopping at Goodwill for school clothes, and when I share that story, I remember literally going through the aisles and looking for like maybe the most unused pair of jeans or whatever we were trying to buy. And it wasn't until my older sister, who's 9 years older than me, she got a job and she was like, guess what? I'm taking you to Gap Kids. And I'm like, and Gap Kids was like,
okay,
like big deal,
yeah,
But
totally.
So we grew up, and my dad like really worked hard. He grinded until one day we literally went from being poor to like, oh my God, I'm in like this middle class home. Like there was no middle. It was like, oh, my dad a lot of immigrants have the same story of like coming to this country and wanting to work hard for a better life, and suddenly they do. And he just instilled work ethic in us, and that education was the way to make it.
And so when you say, and suddenly, because that's actually like a word that I've been getting lately.
Because sometimes it takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
In my case, 30 years.
Yeah.
Because I've been literally working, TV, film, music since I'm 18 years old, and I'll be 51 this year. And a lot of what I've been hearing lately in my own mind, in my own heart, you get downloads from God. Is and suddenly. And so that breakthrough that your dad had, what do you attribute that to? Was it a better job? Was it more education? Was it that someone gave him a break? You went from being basically living under the poverty line in a 2-bedroom apartment, 3 kids. Were they 3 girls? You guys
No.
Okay.
Older sister, older brother.
Okay.
My older brother passed away. was okay. I have 2 more siblings that came afterwards. I think that, you know, there's a saying that the more you're grateful for, the more God gives you, right? And I think that my father was, first of all, just so grateful to be able to come to America with his kids. It's really hard. I mean, when we know now, it's a whole nother story. But it's really hard. So I think even grateful to have a job where back then I'm sure minimum wage was like $3 an hour.
Yeah.
It was something crazy. So I think that my dad, I always say, like, work ethic will beat talent if talent isn't working, right? That's the saying we've all heard. His work ethic, and that's really what he instilled in us. Like, people will tell you it's a good and bad thing. It's hard for me to shut off. I'm working. And it's a work ethic that was instilled in me from my father, because it's like, this is how we're going to have a better life for my kids. This is how I'm going to be able to survive and eat and all of these things. I don't think he imagined that his kids were going to surmount to what he's so proud of now.
Right.
But that's definitely where it stemmed from.
And so his work ethic was consistent.
Till this day.
And one day do you remember what it was like leaving that apartment, moving into a house?
Yes, I'll never forget. He kept driving us to this house, and it was a 2-story house. And
in a nice neighborhood.
In a nice neighborhood. It was called the Bluffs. I'll never forget.
Oh my God, okay.
And he kept telling me that he got a job working on this house. So I would come with him, and he would be like working on the stairs or painting them or doing something with other guys. And it was a 2-story house that, in my mind, like, this is amazing.
Beautiful. And probably felt like a castle too. At the time.
Of course it did. And one day he was like, this is our house.
This is our house.
And he was crying. I'll never forget. It was just, and it was just so hot. And I'm like, and it had like I have my own bedroom. Like, wow, you know? And so it's just, I think I'll never forget all those like struggles. And I think that's why I probably go so hard now, and why I probably push so hard, because once you've been through a certain level of struggle, it makes you really understand the value of having security. And when I say security, I'm not talking money.
Yeah.
Home.
A roof over your head.
Yes.
Knowing that there's food in the refrigerator.
Not being scared of the neighborhood you live in. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, you know, now my children, of course, thank God, will never have to imagine or feel. There were nights when, you know, we were so many people in that apartment that my older brother, rest his soul, we had a back porch area, and it was screened, you know, like those old black screens.
Yeah.
And there was a time that every once in a while, because we had a bed out there, and me and him would share it, and we would sleep on it. And I never forget when it rained one night, he's like, you know, put me in the inside so he could shield the rain. And so when you remember things like that, that's why now I'm so appreciative. There's no way I will ever get to a point where I'm like, this is normal. It's never normal to me, you know?
You know, it's so interesting. Like, my husband, Ray, he grew up in the military. His dad was in the Air Force, and there were 5 kids. And so if you live in the military and you have 5 kids, you get a house that can accommodate essentially 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And so they always had a roof over their head. And his parents worked really, really hard. And my in-laws are amazing. And my mother-in-law is a beast for her family. But Ray has memories of times when money was tight, very, very tight. And when he wasn't really sure what they were going to be eating, like he never had lunch money. And he always talks about how his older sister Kim had lunch money because she would ask her dad, and her dad couldn't say no to the girls.
Right.
But Ray and John really had to fend for themselves. And so at lunchtime, he would play basketball because he didn't want anybody to know that he didn't have money for lunch.
Wow.
And so he is so crazy about making sure we always have a full pantry. We actually have 2 pantries and 2 refrigerators because he never wants the kids to wonder, is there going to be food?
Yeah.
And when he was little, he never really had shoes that fit. Like in 9th grade, he had 2 pairs of jeans. And so even now at 50 years old, if we go out to dinner, which is rare because I cook every night and we're crazy with the kids' AAU schedules. But if we're out to dinner.
Stop saying that out loud. My husband's going to be like, where's my meal?
Wale, I'm sorry. I don't make dinner every night, actually. I bring home food from Grow. That's what I do. But no, if we're out to dinner, even though he has multiple closets filled with shoes. I mean, he has a brand Jordan contract. The amount of shoes this man has, it's crazy. But if we're out to dinner, he will take his shoes off under the table. His feet don't hurt, but he has a memory of his feet hurting when he was a little boy.
Do you know how deep that is? When we talk about childhood trauma.
And we all have it.
All of us. And how it shows up so differently. And like you said, it doesn't matter how successful you get,
Nope.
how much money you get. There's certain things that are so rooted in you. That's how I am about wasting food.
Tell me.
Like I think because it was such a big deal for us when we were young, like to have steak, oh my God.
Yeah.
So now it's like, if me and Wale go to a restaurant, we have steak. We went out to eat the other night and it was a full branzino,
Wow.
a big ribeye steak. It was all this food. And I'm like, we'll take everything home. And Wale's like, baby, the branzino is not going to travel well. And I'm like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But in my mind, and he's like, even if I take it home to sit in the fridge, in my mind, I'm like, I can't imagine. And I didn't think about it till now you're talking about childhood trauma.
Yeah.
That's rooted in not having something.
In lack.
And now when you have it, you're scared and you don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's really
that's
interesting.
deep.
My mom and I talk about it a lot, just like in people and in business, right?
Yeah.
It's like how you grow up.
Yeah.
And even if you have an abundance mindset, and even if you're someone who's a worker, like you and I are,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
we're kind of, I always say like I vacillate between never not working and do not disturb, because sometimes you just have to shut it all the way off.
Yeah.
And I know you do that too.
Yeah.
But we're workers. We've never not worked. I've never not worked. You've never not worked.
Never.
And in some capacity. And I think even if you have an abundance mindset and you're calling abundance into your life constantly, there are still these concepts of scarcity that creep in
Yes.
from those early childhood memories.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay.
I was about to say, I actually welcome
Keeps you
it.
honest.
It keeps you honest and it keeps you humble
Yeah.
because
And grateful.
and working hard.
Yeah.
Because you never get comfortable. You know, when you get too comfortable, that's when I feel like we're not really hitting our full potential, right? Because I read something one day and it said, I realized that I'm always working harder because no matter where the bar is, I'm always raising it.
Yep.
And I remember thinking that we were talking about it in a group of friends,
Mhm.
and some of the friends felt like that's an issue, right? Because you're never satisfied, quote unquote, and you're constantly raising this bar. And the other half were like, no, I like it. I was part of the other half, of course. But I also felt like it really divides, and there's no judgment here, but
Yeah.
it divides the people who are really going to be making moves, impacting the world in a certain space and pushing the limits, breaking glass ceilings. There's that type of person who's going to be the first woman to do
Relentless.
this. Yes. And then there's the other group, which we need. That's why I say there's no judgment,
Yeah.
who is still going to be that soft space and soft landing that so many of us need in friendships, who are going to say, it's okay that this didn't work out.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
They show you grace.
Yes.
Because rest is also important.
Yes.
Right?
And so that's why it's so important when I said they're both needed, because people who are wired like us,
Yeah.
it's like I go, go, go. You know, I remember when you said some of us take off, I took off when I had my first child.
Mhm.
I was supposed to take off 3 months,
Mhm.
not go in the office. And I loved motherhood. I loved breastfeeding.
Me too.
When I tell you I was crazy, I never had made homemade food for myself really, but when I had kids, they never ate out of a baby food jar. I blended everything. I became someone, I'm like, who are you? Like becoming a mom like changes you.
It does.
It was like, everything's organic, homemade, like breast milk. Like I was so crazy.
Yeah.
I joke that my husband was way worse, because my husband would come home and I produced a lot of milk,
Yeah.
thank God.
Yeah.
And, we had the little bags that, I'd pump and measure, and he would like come home and be like, wait, only 4 bags today?
I'm sorry I let you down.
He was honestly like, people would laugh because my husband is like the 6'5",
Yes.
huge
Mhm.
NFL Pro Bowl defensive
Yes.
end. He comes in the house with his little Sharpie marker, and he doesn't want no one to touch the milk, not even me. He wants to measure it, seal it. He would write the date. It is
That partnership is beautiful.
listen,
It's beautiful.
it's a side you don't see.
Yeah.
And he was so serious about that. I have a picture I have to share with you of like our freezer. And it's like his handwriting on all the milk bags. And it's like the date, we had to date from
Yeah.
it was just great. But back to what I was saying, I loved that part of my life, and it was new for me. And I was like, this is just so exciting. But still, I would be on my phone with my office. I'd be like, what happened with it? Like, I'm checking bank accounts. And it's like, you still, you say you turn it off, but do you really? Because even your mind,
You never really turn it off.
no.
You never really turn it off.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. I mean, your dad was always working, right? He was trying to end the cycle of poverty for you guys. And
Yeah.
and what an incredible lesson and an incredible gift to give you.
Oh, man. I attribute my dad. And people always like, what do you attribute your success to? He was strict.
Really?
Like, oh my gosh.
About like dating and stuff like that?
Oh my gosh, dating.
There's no such thing as dating.
No, we're dating. When he met Wale, when I say Wale was my full boyfriend, like staying over and we ain't gonna discuss what else. When he met my dad, but Wale is also like Nigerian. So
Yes.
he understands like the cultural respect. So when he met my father, he was like, I'm Amira's friend,
Okay.
Wale. He was definitely more than a friend.
Right.
But my dad, who is foreign, but he's been in this country forever,
Yeah.
and he's dealt with, the American culture versus our culture. And he was like, I really like him. You know why? Because he didn't come to me with this bullshit boyfriend, girlfriend. He's like, he told me I'm Amira's friend because he has respect.
Okay.
And I was like cracking up.
You're like,
because I
Dad,
was
if you
like,
only knew, Dad.
yeah. But I'm like, I feel like he knew, but he was
Yeah.
like, it was a respect thing. So
Yeah, that's important.
yeah, that's like really, really important. But he was very strict. In high school, if a boy called my house, he's like, Amira doesn't accept calls from boys.
Click.
I'm literally like, Dad, I'm like 16. Like not accept calls from boys is like,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
It's like death to your social
Oh my God.
calendar.
No sleepovers.
Oh yeah, I don't do sleepovers.
Oh yeah, we don't either.
I don't allow my kids to
Yeah.
do sleepovers.
We-
And friends are welcome to stay at our house,
That's how we are.
but my kids aren't allowed to sleep
Yeah.
at anybody's house.
No, they can't. What
Yeah.
my husband's like, I don't even care if it's my sister, brother, aunt, like absolutely not. That's
Yeah.
we're just like that.
Mhm.
But with grades, it was like back when I was in school, I'm sure you do. It wasn't just A, B, C. It was like A+, A minus.
Yeah.
So if I got an A minus, it's like, this is unacceptable. You're not going to change the world with these A minus. I was like, woof. Like,
And people would say now that like, okay, was your dad, and this is why it's so important to have conversations and to have friends and like have real friendships where you can have real conversation without judgment. Because I think a lot of times now it's like the world will tell you that as a parent, no matter what your kids present to you, that's their life, that's their journey, that's their lesson. They should be able to learn it. And I'm like your dad. I'm like, wait a minute now.
oh, no, not
I never have to talk to my sons about their grades. They're straight A students. And it's not that they have to have an A to win my love. I love them without condition. But I also have an expectation for them that they are going to keep their promises to themselves.
Yeah.
And they've told me, Mom, I want to be in the MYP program. Mom, I want to
Yep.
hear my name called as winning this award. Mom, I want to get the Cooperman or the Principal award at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Mom, I want to be at the top of my class. Okay, so if you're saying that to me and that's your goal, well, now I'm going to keep you
Yeah,
accountable.
because
to
I'm
it.
mama bear and I
Right.
have to, that's our job. No, it's tricky because I'm dealing with a culture that I've grown up in, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of African cultures are like that. I mean, other cultures too, I've noticed, but
Mhm.
at least for my husband and I's culture is very similar in terms of like, being very strict, like the bar is always raised. Like my father,
Education is so important.
oh my God, education is more important than anything. And,
Yeah.
and like that is like the biggest thing is like education. And it's because a lot of people from other countries don't have the life that just even an average American has. So they feel like this is our way, which it is, because you look over here, the highest percentage of foreign doctors here come from Nigeria.
I didn't know that.
Highest percentage.
Wow.
You look around, top surgeons, top internal medicine, everything. If you look at the number one,
Mm.
and it comes from a culture of academic excellence, right? And so
I also think Nigeria holds the wealthiest people in the world.
that I don't
like,
know. They
of,
might.
of the 7 to 9 wealthiest people on earth, I believe 2 are Nigerian. I don't know if that's true, but keep going.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's true. But what I do know is that it's kind of universal. Like we have little jokes that we like send each other, my husband and I, like Instagram memes of like, when I was growing up, my parent. And to your point, it's really tricky because I'm trying to evolve and grow.
Okay.
I'm trying to grow
Mhm.
and not be stuck in generational ways that maybe are not healthy to my children.
Mm-hmm.
But I get torn because you hear, like you say, like mental health. Mental health is a big deal. And are we being too stern? Are we not? And then I'm torn because then I look at myself and my sister who's been able to build so much because we had so much supervision, because we had someone saying, average is not okay.
Yeah.
You need to do better.
Discipline, tough love,
Yes.
encouragement, support, but also accountability. Your dad was your accountability partner.
And I never not felt love though. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Now, my dad wasn't one to show love like, oh my gosh, I love you so much. You're so sweet. You're so this. It wasn't. But to me, my dad showed love by like, I saw how hard he worked for us.
Mhm.
I saw how much he cared about.
It was in deeds.
Yes.
So maybe his
And my
love-
husband is like that now.
So is that love language acts of service?
Yes.
It's not
acts-
time spent. It's not
No. It's acts
words of affirmation.
No, it's acts of service. Because Wale and I were just discussing this literally the other night about like sometimes someone's love language, you're married to someone and their love language is acts of service. But the love language you might want is words of affirmation.
My husband's is acts of service also.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so if I go to Wale and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want more quality time. We need more date nights. And he's like, do you know that like, did you realize like your gas tank is full and that I did this and I did that? And I'm just like, yeah, that's great.
But tell me I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
So, it's
Yeah.
it's a struggle, but I am learning that for me, what works for me, and that's the thing with like sometimes like social media and what you see around is like what works for you in
Yeah.
your household might not be what works in my household and me and my thinking. So for me, I have friends that are like, you need to turn it off. It's the weekend. You shouldn't be working. And I'm like, this actually makes me happy.
Yeah, it's what I love to do.
So it's not
That's why
like
I'm doing it.
Yes. So it's not like I'm so miserable and but I'm like, I love this. This is where I feel impactful. This is where I feel God has placed me to be. And this is where I feel like God is telling me you need to do and you need to create, because there's so many young people watching us, so many young people who see us in them,
Yes.
who grew up like us,
Mhm.
maybe grew up in other countries, maybe have brown skin,
Mhm.
maybe, have those hard
Maybe
names to
come from a
pronounce.
single parent household.
Yes. And so when they see someone able, and that's why I've always been like an open book, like this is what it is,
Yeah.
this is where I came from, because I feel like when people can see that and resonate with you, they're like, well, if she can do it, so can
So can
I. And that's big.
Right.
So yeah.
So moving through high school, not allowing boys to call you at the but you definitely tapped in on the education piece. At what moment did you know that you wanted to be a doctor?
So again, a lot of households, foreign households, like, okay, you have 3 options. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer.
Okay.
So my dad was like, these are the 3 things you can be. I'm like, okay, well, I wanted to actually be like some type of surgeon, probably plastic surgeon, which now I'm like, I probably would have been excellent at.
You would have been amazing at
'Cause
it.
I'm like-
I actually really feel like you already kind of are a plastic surgeon.
So like my eye for aesthetics and my attention to detail is like,
Yeah.
it's almost like OCD about everything.
Yeah.
Because they say how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Everything.
That's a big thing. Because I'm like that about everything. If I'm doing veneers, if I'm organizing my house, whatever it is, it's like, have to be like that.
My dad always says, do it right the first time.
Yeah. Or spend more time doing it again.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
it right the first
Yeah.
time. You
Take
do it right
that
the
shot.
first time, you
Yeah.
can check it off.
Yeah. Yeah. So my dad was like, so I was like, oh, I went to some hospitals and I'm like, oh, I don't know what it was. I couldn't get past the hospital feel. No, that's
Okay.
crazy. So I was like, So then I watched Jerry Maguire and I was like, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer, a sports attorney. Funny because my husband.
Right, exactly.
And even though my dad gave me an option, he's like, no. Do you know how many lawyers are out here that are broke? There's no broke dentists. You're going to go to dental school.
Wow, there's no broke dentist. Is that true?
It is so hard to be a broke dentist. I'm just being honest. I mean, you would have to try so hard to be broke. I mean, like the minimum, if you just want to show up, like show your face and like do absolutely nothing, you should make at least $700-800 a day.
Is this because
This is like the bottom.
okay, is this because there just aren't enough dentists and people, they're just always booked?
It's because dental work is expensive. And
Mm.
even if you're not trying to be the top leading, it's one of the lowest failing businesses in the country, or dental offices.
Wow.
It is very hard to fail at a dental office.
Is that why you do so much work like around women empowerment? Are you
Yes.
encouraging young women to do dentistry?
Not just young women,
Okay.
but people who look like me, because this is so crazy, less than 5% of all dentists are Black.
Less than 5% of all dentists are Black, but 5%
Then less- how many
of
women?
all doctors in America come from Nigeria.
Say it again.
Less than 5% of dentists are Black.
Yes.
but 5% of doctors in America are Nigerian.
Oh, are they?
That's what you said to me earlier.
No. I was saying that Nigeria holds the highest percentage of foreign doctors.
Okay.
Of all
countries.
Not just any
Not
country.
just in the U.S. Wow.
No, of all. So whoever comes to the States, whether they're from Nigeria, they're from London, they're from Australia, the highest foreign doctors are all Nigerian. A huge percentage of them.
Okay, amazing.
They're like the most brilliant people. I always tell my husband, I don't tell him to his face.
Yeah.
That how brilliant he is, because you got to humble him. He's already handsome.
Yeah,
and,
he's handsome. He's tall.
And I'm like, oh, you're so smart, babe.
He had a pro athletic career.
Oh my God, he's
NFL.
And then he has me, he has everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That part. Yeah. Don't tell him anything.
But I've always felt like most people I've ever dated, I'm like, oh, I'm smarter than them. My husband, he might be with one person. I'm like, okay, you might be a little smarter than me, like a little hint,
really
like that. But because they're really smart. So less than 5% of dentists are Black. So my biggest thing is how do we change the ratio? That's what has become so passionate to me. How do we get more people who look like us in these spaces? And it's bigger than just, yes, we want more people and we want diversity and we want in this space for our own success, but also because of medical and dental equity, right? How many patients you hear about the maternal
mortality rate. It's crazy.
It's so crazy because when someone doesn't see someone who looks like them, they're a little more apprehensive, they're more fearful, and treatment is different. Let's just be honest. People don't want to talk about it. But are there amazing dentists who are non-Black who would not be racist or biased? I'm sure, of course. Right. But there's a lot that are. There was a doctor who just went viral, a dentist, pediatric dentist, who is a MAGA supporter, which that's fine. We don't care if you're Republican or not. That's right. We take an oath to do no harm.
Is that the Hippocratic Oath?
We take an oath to do no harm, meaning if you are Black, white, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, I can't judge. I'm to do no harm no matter what. If you sit in my chair and call me the N-word, I still took an oath that I will either not treat you, but I can't do harm. Of course, so much isn't entrusted in us.
Absolutely.
So she goes on to make a speech where she's joking, and she says that for her Democratic patients, she purposely wears a hat that says "Make America Great Again," and when they say something, whatever, she turns the gas down.
No.
Yeah,
so that she can inflict pain on them.
So she said it was just a joke. It was like a whole ordeal.
Is she going to lose her license?
I hope so, because that is crazy. Honestly, I don't care if someone sat in my chair and called me the N-word. I'd probably be like, I can no longer treat you. But if their mouth is open, I'm not going to be like, oh, let me give them this anesthesia.
You still have to do your best work.
Yes.
And you have to make sure that they're safe.
Exactly. And make sure they're safe, because that's why there's so small percentage of doctors in the world, because this is very important to understand. So that being said, there are a lot of patients who are getting unfair treatment because of who their doctor is.
Substandard treatment.
Yes. So imagine now if 95% of the dentists are non-Black and you're a Black person. I did a piece with Business Insider, and it was basically about why it was literally about athletes. Okay. So they reached out to me because I see a lot of athletes, professional athletes. Why, even with them, is there a decrease in their dental care or a decrease in their, keeping up with appointments? I guess they did some study. And I said, well, it's simple. It's so hard to get. I don't care how many millions someone has. If they grew up in an environment that was underserved and maybe they went to a dentist who didn't like the color of their skin and didn't give them enough anesthesia and they were in pain, they hate the dentist. They never want to come back. I don't care if they have 50 million in their bank account. Right. They're like, this is not a safe space for me. And what I often hear...
It's childhood trauma.
Yes. And what I often hear is people say, well, you don't look like my dentist is like this old white guy. Because honestly, that's what's predominant in this field. So for me, it's been so heavy on my heart for literally the last 10 years. I've made it my mission to how can we get more diversity in this field? How can we get more representation? How can we get more dental equity? And how can we get care to underserved communities? And the best way to do it is by increasing this ratio of minority people in the field.
How can we get more minorities in the field?
So I'm currently working on a scholarship that is really dear to me. And the goal of the scholarship is a lot of times we give scholarship money to minority dental students while they're in dental school.
Okay.
But my belief is that there's a lot of minority students who qualify for dental school. But a lot of people don't know that the application for dental school is not cheap. For each school, back years ago when my mentee was applying, my mentee is brilliant. When I say genius, like genius, she's from Jamaica, born in Jamaica, went to UF. When she was applying to dental school, I wanted her to apply to Harvard. Harvard only accepted 30 or 35 people, and the requirements were high, but she had the requirements. If it's 500 per school and you come from an affluent, generally white family, because that's this country, your parents can apply for 10 schools.
Exactly.
That's nothing to them.
Right. Just put it on the credit card.
Yeah. And may the best school win. But when you come from an underserved community and you have the test scores, but you're like, oh gosh, I'm nervous. I only have 1,500. That means I can apply to 3 schools,
Right.
500 apiece.
And you probably needed family members to contribute to that 1,500.
Exactly. So now you're like, I'm not going to pick Harvard because that's one of the hardest to get into. And she went on to go to Harvard.
I feel like I saw this on social media.
Yes, she did. She graduated from Harvard, top of her class,
Wow.
gave the commencement speech.
What?
A Black woman from Jamaica. But imagine if she did not have the application money. So the scholarship I'm working on is, can we fund money to minority students at the undergraduate level to now cover their application fees so they can be at the same playing field as some of their counterparts who they have the same scores.
Yep.
They have the same GPA, but their family comes from...
You're right. They have a house in the Hamptons.
They cannot, so this family can't afford that. Can we give them the scholarship to allow them to apply? Just by doing that, the percentage of minority people who become dentists is going to skyrocket.
It's going to skyrocket.
So that's what I'm working on. This is something that I have not seen exist thus far. A lot of, like I said, scholarships do exist. So I'm working on it with a big company that we're...
Excellent. And are people going to be able to contribute? Like if people want to,
Of
that are
course,
watching, that maybe...
yes.
Do you have a name for the scholarship? Do you have a website
No,
yet?
because I can't. We're soon everything's coming out.
Okay.
But we're working on all of the, stuff. And when it announces, I'm going to come knocking back on your door
Please
to be
do.
like...
And then maybe also, like maybe it'll be in time for when our episode actually airs.
Yeah.
And
that
we can put it
give,
in the comments, or we can throw it up on the screen so that people know.
And can
I really
contribute.
want to help Dr. Amira with this. And I feel like I want to be a part of this mission because it's powerful.
It's so
and when you were going through the process of applying to schools, I mean, obviously you went through high school with flying colors. And where did you do your undergrad?
So I went to Howard. It's actually a funny story because Howard is the HBCU. It's like I
don't tell anybody from Hampton.
Yeah, please do not. It's the illustrious Howard University.
Yes.
But when I was applying, I was in Florida, so I actually was registered for University of Florida in Gainesville, the Gators.
Sure.
My dad was an education guy, 7-year program. So you did your undergrad in 3 years. Then you did 4 years of dental school. So you cut off a year and you're a doctor early. So we went to Gainesville and we registered and found me a place to live. And then a month before school started, my dad found out that Howard had a 6-year program. So I would do undergrad in 2 years and 4 years. And so I would be a dentist at 23.
Oh my God. Your dad was on it.
He was on it, but crazy. Like,
on it, but crazy.
He was
but
crazy.
We need a crazy.
Little crazy.
Yeah.
So,
So you switched gears.
Well, I was like, we didn't even know what HBCU meant. We come from a foreign family. This was so crazy because you know what's crazy? I just got honored last week, which is such a blessing.
Congratulations.
As one of the 50 most impactful HBCU graduates.
Ever?
It's for this year.
Okay, amazing.
They think they do it every year.
Okay.
But what's crazy about the story, if people knew, is my family didn't know what HBCU meant. I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
Historically Black college, what is that? My dad was just like, oh, 6 years? UF said 7 years? He could care less. He did not know. And I'm like, Daddy, like, what about my, like, the undergrad experience? Like, he's like, again, foreign. Right. He's like, you're going to have whatever experience you want when you're a doctor at 23, when you can buy whatever you want, you can go pay whatever. And so I went on to Howard reluctantly.
Really?
Yes.
And then you got there and you were like, I'm here.
I got there and Howard University changed my life.
Tell me how. One, community.
That's it.
You were centered. Your beauty was centered. Your history was centered. Your culture was centered.
Yes.
You were not on the outskirts. You were not knocking on the door, peering through the window, othered.
Yes.
You were in the center.
You nailed it.
Well, listen, I didn't go there, but I just came back from Africa, and I was like, for the first time in my life, I just had an experience where I witnessed what it is like for the Black experience to be centered.
It teaches you about excellence. It teaches you about sitting in your Blackness and not it no longer becomes something that you're like, I made it despite being Black. It's I made it because I'm Black. And there's something to say about that. It taught me to really appreciate who I am. It taught me to appreciate where I came from.
Right.
It taught me to and now, sometimes people see me and, sometimes you see fair skin or you see flat iron hair and you don't see the other side. And they're like,
and you're like, I'm actually from Africa.
No, my husband is like dark skin, Nigerian features, and he'll tell anyone, like, my wife is like blackity black. Like we make like a joke about it because I go so hard for the culture because I know I can pass for other.
Okay.
And my counterparts, some of my colleagues can't. Right. So when people come to me and they're like, oh my God, I heard you're so amazing, or this, and like, oh, you're Middle Eastern, or they try to, and it's like, you can be Middle Eastern, I can't speak Arabic, but I'm Black. I want to make it very clear because I feel like oftentimes when we talk about being Black, it's put in a category of a lot of negative, and so to be able, and thank you, God, to be at the top of my career, it's important for me to make sure that it's known. I'm not other. Like, I went to a historically Black college. I want to say that this is, don't downplay this. This is what can come from this. Someone of this level or this caliber, or however people see you, is like, yeah, this came from.
Yeah, don't other me. I'm a Black woman in business. Yes, you're excellent. You're phenomenal. And you did all of this. To your point, I also think, and I don't know if you've experienced this, but I think sometimes people want to make Egyptians in general Middle Eastern.
Yeah, I think so. Well, there was a whole thing about this, like the whole like Middle East is made up. There's no such
thing, right?
It's just something Africa. America made up. You're either from Africa or from Europe or from Asia, but then, America came and like circled this area and was like, this is the Middle East. Well, here's the thing, like people don't understand. You could be Egyptian and come over here and you're white. You can be Egyptian, come over here and be Black, because it's just like being from France. You could be French and be Black and French and be white.
Right.
So, Soledad O'Brien did a special on CNN. It was like, who's Black in America? Who gets to say they're Black? Who doesn't? Because people are often like, oh my God, you're this, you're not Black. You're this, you're not white. But it's just so valuable to surround yourself, back to like the Howard Center, with people who believe in you, uplift you, encourage you. And that's outside of just the university, even like friendships. Yeah. When we talk about friendships or who you pick for, the most important decision you'll ever make in your life is who you choose as your spouse.
Absolutely.
That is like make or break, and I think about my husband who met me. I was already a doctor and I had a career, but I would be lying to say that if it were not for him, I wouldn't be this high. There's no way. And because he saw something in me that I didn't even see, he was like, wait a minute, why aren't you owning this? And I'm like, own? Well, I should just be happy to be here. He's like, no, you need to own. You need ownership. He told me about finances. He was like, taught me about worth. Like everything I was doing was him in the background. And sometimes I would literally fight with him because I'm like, you're too hard on me. He's like, you could be doing more. You could, like my father.
Dad.
They say you do that,
I said, I would never marry a man like my dad. Sorry, Dad, no disrespect, but I actually married a man like my mother. But I always say that people do. I think people do marry someone like their dad, but I always say I married a man like my mother. And that's because my mom is the alpha. My mom is like completely dedicated, completely disciplined. She does the small things when no one's watching. She's such a hard worker. She's never not working. She is a complete boss. She paid all the bills. And
then here comes Ray.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, it's
incredible provider, nurturer, all the things, and so supportive, so positive. You cannot get a negative word out of this woman. I mean, that is literally my husband. And actually, they have a really great friendship because they're so much alike. So But yeah, I mean, Wale and your dad are like.
No, and my dad like loves Wale. Wale loves my dad. And I'm just like, but I'm literally like, oh my God, you're too hard on this. You're too hard on. But to be honest, everything that my husband was ever what I considered hard on me, I look back like, that's such a huge part of who I am now.
Yeah.
You know, like he elevated me in every sense.
He saw your potential
and
when maybe you couldn't even see it.
And he wouldn't let up. He didn't care if I was annoyed, tired. It was always like, this is what
you can do this, Amira.
Yeah, this is what you can be.
So I want to get to the part where you saved the day for me. So here you are, you're a world-renowned cosmetic dentist. I mean, it is so important that people love who they are from the inside out. But a lot of times I think you see that in people's smile. I mean, you're in the business of smiles.
Yeah.
You really are.
Yeah.
And the work that you're doing is transformational. I mean, there are so many people that must come to you. And I see it on social media and even in my own life where they come to you with a brokenness. They don't really want to smile. They're covering their smile. There's an insecurity there and it affects how they're living.
Right.
And you are not just repairing that, you know, you are lighting them from within again so that they can be their best, fullest, most confident selves. It's magic what you do.
Thank you.
It is. And so our daughter, Tiara, and Tiara and I have this very similar story. Right before Ray and I got married, one of my teeth on the left side had shifted a little bit when I was pregnant with Ray Ray, right? We were engaged for like 11 years. Then we finally were getting married and we already had Tiara, Ray Ray, and Walker.
Oh, wow.
And so I did Invisalign because I was like, oh, maybe that will close the gap. But I was a breastfeeding mom. I breastfed for 12 years straight with no breaks. And when you're breastfeeding, you're hungry.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't religious with the Invisalign. And the space just didn't close up. And so right before our wedding, I was at the pool one day hanging out with my sisters. And there was a woman there who was like, hey, you know, you're getting married next week. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, is there anything you didn't get done? Which was like such a random question to ask someone.
Yeah.
Normally people want to know like how many people are coming.
Yeah.
You know, what does your dress look like? She was like, you know, I know this is a big list. It's like a stressful time. Is there anything you didn't get done? And I was like, actually, you know, I have this tiny little space in my teeth, not in the middle,
so interesting
off to
that
the
you
side.
discussed that with her.
Yeah. And I was like, and I don't know, in a perfect world, I would have got it figured out because I really want to love my smile in my wedding pictures. And she says, Shannon, do you know what I do for a living? And I'm like, I have no idea. I only knew this woman from the pool. She was like, I'm a cosmetic dentist.
Crazy.
And I was like, oh. And she goes, that space you have, you never needed Invisalign. She said, I could fix that in 20 minutes. And I was like, what? She was like, 20 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I'm leaving on Sunday to get on the ferry to Martha's Vineyard. We got married on the vineyard. And she said, come into my office tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and I'll fix that for you. And I remember coming out of her office, shout out Dr. Grace. I still see Dr. Grace when I'm in Connecticut. And I sat in my car and I looked in the mirror and I sobbed because Walker had just been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I had had a miscarriage. I planned my wedding myself in 6 weeks. We had just won an NBA championship. It was like so many highs and lows. And you know how that thing can feel. It was like a lot.
Yeah.
And here this woman fixed my smile. And it was such a gift. And I know her name is Grace. I know that was from God. I know that was a gift that God gave me to say, I got you.
Yeah.
You know, and so Tiara was getting ready to get married to her now husband, Travis. And I said to her, is there anything that you didn't get done?
You're going to make me emotional.
And she said to me, I've always wanted to fix my smile. And I'm like, what's wrong with your smile? Like, this is my daughter. And she said, you know, I just, I always wish that my smile was like a little bit different. Like there were some things that she wanted to work on. And so I called you. And we only knew each other socially.
Wait,
what did I do? Did I DM you?
No.
Okay,
let me tell you the story, which is actually funny.
Tell me from your end. Okay.
I had like an inquiry. I think you did like the consult form on my Instagram. Okay. But it said Shannon Allen.
Yes.
I knew of you.
Okay.
Because I actually was like, this woman is like, you know, like wife, and she's just so amazing. No. I thought really highly of you. This is a real true story.
Thank you.
So I'm like, is the Shannon Allen?
Stop.
Email me. I promise you this is a story.
Okay.
This is a true story because my husband's now involved. This is very funny.
Okay.
So I tell my husband, I'm like, yeah, you know, do you know who Ray Allen is? Anyways, so his wife, you know, Shannon Allen, I think she emailed me. He was like, well, Ray Allen is a legend. I'm like, isn't she?
Isn't she?
Talking about you.
Yes.
You know, and he was like, well, and it's so funny how our minds are. Cause I'm like, she is amazing. Like I've read about her. She's incredible. She's like a mom of like 17, 11 kids. Like she's like super like woman, like all this stuff. And I'm like, no disrespect to your husband, but I'm like, oh, he's a great basketball player. Awesome. Shannon. So I was just like, oh my God, I think she wants me to do something hard. Like I was so honored.
Wow.
But of course, like when you reached out to me, I had to play it all cool. I was like, hello.
Are too
hi.
much.
But inside I was just like, oh my God, because this is someone that I have looked at in terms of like the way you've been very vocal about like how you are about your family. I love the way you cover your family, the type of wife you are, the type of mother you are. And so for me, it was like, just to like be in your presence. And you need to take your flowers because I know how you like to give flowers. It just felt like you are such an embodiment of woman, grown woman. And for other people who are younger than you, who see you and how you love your family and you're very vocal about how you respect, love, cover it, other women look at you and say, I want to be a wife like that. I want to be a mom like that.
Wow.
So not to get too off track, I was so honored.
Thank you. My God, I didn't know all of that.
I know.
I actually was like, this is going to be a huge imposition for this woman. She is the doctor. Because by the way, I'm sure there's a large percentage of the smiles that you do that you're actually fixing other people's shoddy work.
Yes.
Especially now, because people want to go overseas and like do it cheap, which I understand because it's expensive, but you end up having to do it twice.
Yeah.
And so,
and your daughter was so grateful. She cried. Oh my God.
I know.
She had her office crying when we delivered her case. I was like, this is just too much.
And you just cleared your schedule. And Tiara only had 6 weeks. Like when I said to her, is there anything you didn't get done? I didn't know it was going to be this. And it was a process, right? And that's her process. And she can talk about it if she feels like it all. I know she posted a love story to you because it was a love story. But you really cleared your schedule. And by the way, she doesn't live in South Florida. And so you made it work so that she could do some things, heal, come back. And when she walked out of that dentist's office, Amira, she was so happy.
She was.
Like, to just see this young woman who was just beautiful and strong, and she'd found her person.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just, my God, her smile was everything. And you sacrificed so much to make that happen for her. I will be forever grateful. When I look at her wedding pictures, I'm like, so happy for her.
When you guys sent them to me, I was like,
so happy for her, but I'm also so grateful to you.
Thank you.
And I just can't believe that we both had that very similar experience. It's like, what?
Well, that's why I always say like, and this is such a word for young people who are trying to figure out who they are and their gift. Sometimes we don't realize that our gift that God gives us to us is like every day, but to other people, it is so impactful. And that's why no matter what anyone else tells you about like what you're doing, what you're building, if God gave you that vision, like you got to see that through because it's going to change people's lives in ways you don't know. And when it changes their lives, it changes yours because that's where purpose comes from.
Yeah.
It's like now I feel like it's not the money, it's not the accolades, it's not the degrees. It's these stories and these moments where you feel like God gave me a gift and I'm really like changing someone's life. You can't pay for that.
No. Is that what you love the most about your work? Yes. The afters.
Oh my gosh.
Because sometimes the befores are really scary.
Oh my God.
Truthfully.
They are.
Truthfully. You know, from neglect or from fear or anxiety or being marginalized in a way that dental care just is not an option for you.
Yeah.
And
it's the confidence. It's the people, it's the text messages I get after they're in the pictures and they're just like, you know, Dr. A, I can't thank you enough. Like you changed my life. And it's like, sometimes you're like, who am I?
Yeah.
And we have to remind ourselves that God gave it to you. So who are you not? But who am I? Sometimes you deal with imposter syndrome. Who am I to receive this level of thanks and gratitude, which fills me up, right? And it's so fulfilling to hear people say, you changed my life, or know that they're smiling more, or know that you impacted them in some way. And it's just a blessing.
You're a blessing. I am so incredibly grateful to you. And I want to support you, and I want to support your work to get more people to dentistry, more people of color to dentistry, certainly. And so hopefully we can funnel more people towards you.
Yeah.
But above all else, I'm just so incredibly grateful that you listened to that inner voice and your dad's voice and now Wale's voice. And you really stepped into this wholeheartedly, but with excellence.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You are a grown woman.
Grown.
Grown baby.